What do you do when your plans just fall apart? You had plans to do something really fun with someone you care about, and then last minute you just had to cancel those plans for whatever reason. You've bought the tickets, you've got the bags packed, and you're ready to go, and then last minute those reservations had to be canceled. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I was planning a trip to go see my son down in South Carolina, and very last minute, I had to cancel that flight. And so I thought, okay, no big deal. I'll just stay at home. I will clean, I will work on things, work on projects. And actually what ended up happening was I started to really reflect on the last time I saw my son. So I'd really like to share with you some of the little highlights and the little funny moments that happened the last time I visited him down in South Carolina. When I packed for my Carolina trip, I took one bag. I took a backpack. I took a bathing suit. I had 3 different days worth of outfits. I also had a pair of pajamas in this bag. Inside of this bag, I also carried a smaller bag. And so this will squish down. I put my wallet, my phone, my shades, my glasses, all go in here, and then I put this in the top of the backpack. And this is what I hold in my lap because this has all my stuff. And that one I put, the other one I put under the seat. Now that my bags were all packed, I was super excited to get down there, and I really wanted to drive out over to Charlotte because I've never gone to Charlotte before. There's a strong history there. I thought it would be a beautiful city that we could walk around and have lunch. Well, lo and behold, there was severe flooding in the entire area. So my son was like, "Are you sure you don't want to go?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we can't go. There's flooding going on down there." So we weren't able to drive from where we were down to Charleston. However, we did take advantage of the local museum that was in Columbia. So we ended up driving about 45 minutes away from where my son was staying, and we went to a beautiful museum. After we left the museum, we actually found an adorable little zoo there in Columbia, and we had an opportunity to see all the animals. I remember telling my son that one of the best zoos we have right here in Omaha, Nebraska, but it's always nice to go and visit other zoos. I just really enjoy that, and we had such a good time together there at that zoo. We saw some beautiful little fish aquariums. It was just gorgeous. It was a lot of fun. And when we left there, we were, of course, starving at that point, and we ended up going to a little restaurant that we could sit outside, and for the first time ever, I got to try fried green tomatoes. And I don't know if everybody's fried green tomatoes are that good, but man alive, that was good. And I have to say, shout out for anything in South Carolina as far as the cooks down there, because everywhere we went, the food was absolutely amazing, bona fide Southern. And it was just a lovely experience. And we got back kind of late, but tired, and I got a good night's rest that night. And the next morning, the intent was to try to have a little breakfast, maybe do a little hiking, maybe, and then I would have to head back to Columbia. So I had a 45-minute drive back into Columbia to get to the airport. So after my son and I had breakfast, we went to a place called, I believe it was the Egg and I. When we left there, we looked around to see if there was anything that we could do in the local area, and that's when we actually came across a Swan park. And I'm like, what is a Swan park? And we get out there, and we're just in awe at how beautiful it is. I was. And when we got in there, there's all these beautiful swans, there's beautiful trails, and we just had a beautiful time walking around. And I did find out, I learned that they are the only park, I believe, in the United States that has all of the different swans. And it was just very calming and relaxing. And I don't know how many hours we were there, just kind of walking through the trails and talking. And I remember feeling like, okay, we should just sit down for a little bit because I'm a little tired. And while we were there sitting, we found a bench. We looked out over the water, and there's this beautiful tree that sits right in the middle of the water. There's like a little island in the middle of the lake right there, big tree. And we're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden we notice that there's 2 turtles at the base of those trees. And that was kind of cool to see that. But what made it so special to me is my son started to mimic what he thought the turtles would potentially be saying to one another. And he was like, Mom, I wonder if those turtles talk to one another. I'm sure that they do, but I wonder what they say when they're talking to one another. And you know what? I bet it goes like this. So he proceeded to give this narrative, like he did this entire dialogue of these 2 turtles talking to one another, and it was just absolutely hilarious. And that simple little story about 2 turtles sitting at the base of a tree represents for me finding peace. And it wasn't until we saw the little bench, sat down together, and we had been talking the whole time. We were spending time together the whole few days, but it wasn't until we sat down on that bench and started to look at those tiny little turtles, and my son started to create that little dialogue of what the turtles were saying to one another. It was in that moment that I really felt such peace. I felt connected to who I was supposed to be as a mom. I felt close to him because it was comical, but it was also who he is. And it really gave me an opportunity to just really think about that tiny little moment and how important that little moment was for me and my peace. And it's in those little moments where you get quiet in your spirit and you can recognize that those are the places of peace. And that's how you truly practice the art of self-care, is when you quieten your spirit and reflect on those little moments, or be cognizant or mindful of those moments right here, right now. This is living right now. And it can be in something so simple as a dialogue between 2 turtles. Well, I hope that my little story and my little journey was a place of peace and comfort and warmth for you today. And I want to encourage you to go and practice self-care today, tonight. Do the one thing for yourself that will bring your spirit peace and your mind peace and your body comfort. So take care of you, and I will see you in the next chapter.